Welcome back, everyone. It's your girl T with Adventurers of Spirits, and as you can see, what are we making today? Today we are making some rum punch with the authentic Jamaican recipe. So get out your Wray and Nephew and your Meyers rum, and let's go to the Caribbean. Alright, everyone. So in order to get started with your rum punch, you need to make sure you have your ingredients. So as you can see, you're going to need 12 limes, a couple of oranges, depending on how many slices you would like to put in your jar, some pineapple for garnishing, a 64-ounce jar, or any other size that you plan on making. Depends on how much rum punch you need to make for how many people. Your Meyers rum, which is your dark rum. Some good old Wray and Nephew. You can't make a rum punch without the overproof Wray and Nephew, straight from Jamaica. Your pineapple juice, orange juice, some Hawaiian fruit punch, but we're going to talk about that because this is going to be just a little, this recipe is basically going to show you two different ways you can make it, some cherries and a juicer. So first you want to make sure you clean your fruit, okay? So you want to clean your oranges, you want to clean your limes, you want to get your jar, you want to open your jar, and you want to start slicing up your actual fruit. We're going to start off with oranges, and these slices are actually going to go inside your jar, and it's up to you. As you can see here, I do have oranges, but I also have cherries, so I do plan on putting both within the jar. Now it's time to add the cherries. So the cherries will go in, and I like a lot of cherries in mine, and I also like the juice. The juice is so delicious. So I just get a jar and just pour the whole thing in. And remember, that jar is 64 ounces. Yes, I did drop the cherry. That's going in the trash. But the actual jar, 64 ounces, is the perfect size, especially maybe if you have a party of 10 people. That is just a good size jar in order to do that. So here you see me cutting up the limes. It is necessary to make sure that you squeeze fresh lime juice. Use fresh lime juice for your rum punch. It is very important that you do that. That store-bought jar really makes things not taste so well. Now the juicer, I can tell you it is very important to get a juicer if you want this to go as smoothly and as efficient as possible. Otherwise you will be hurting your hands. It does take a lot of work. However, whatever type of juicer you use, you can use. This is a Cuisinart. I got it from Amazon for under $30. And at the time that I got it, it's $30 now. But at the time that I got it, it was on sale for $24.99. So just $5 off. But as you can see, it is knocking out those limes 1, 2, 3. And it also removes the pulp in addition to getting all of the juice. So you don't have to worry about some of the juice just still being in there. As you can see, it takes everything out. And it is so much efficient when you see how much juice is coming out of those limes. This actual juicer is remarkable, and as you can see, I was able to get 2.5 cups out of those 12 limes. Just so you'll know, in reference to how many limes you think you'll need for 64 ounces. But do know I also keep lime juice for other cocktails. So again, you have your lime juice, you have your fruit punch, you have your orange juice, you have your pineapple juice, you have your rums, and you have some ginger. Okay? You're also going to need a measuring cup. And you need the measuring cup to make sure that you have the correct parts in reference to how much you need for each of the ingredients. Now remember, we have a 64-ounce jar. So for the lime juice, we're going to put in 8 ounces of your sour. Okay? 8 ounces of sour, 8 ounces of lime juice. That gets poured into your jar. The recipe calls for 1 part sour, 2 parts sweet, but there's a modification to that, 3 parts strong, which is your rum, and 4 part weak, which can either be juice or water, and we'll get to that in a minute. So I poured in the lime juice there. Yes, I know I'm OCD. I'm a little neat freak. I had to move everything out the way, you all. Sorry for that. So now we're going to go into our sweet/weak. So normally the original recipe for rum punch is normally the fruit punch syrup, which is the 2-part. You will pour that. You will pour 2-part, which would be 16 ounces. And then your weak will be water instead of juice. But since my weak is also sweet, I'm not going to do the 2-part. I'm automatically doing the 4-part. So since we put in 8 ounces of lime juice, then that means we need how much juice do we need? We need 32 ounces of weak. So I prefer to put majority fruit punch. So for fruit punch, it was 16 ounces. And then I did 8 ounces of pineapple juice and 8 ounces of orange juice. Okay? 16 ounces of fruit punch. Two cups for those who prefer the cup number versus the ounce number. Now it's time for the strong. So the strong here, I have the Dark Rum and I also have the Wray and Nephew. Wray and Nephew is overproof. This one was 110%. Okay, and so being that as it may, since we need to input 3-part strong, which is 8 times 3, 24 ounces, I did not decide to go 50-50 on this. For the actual Wray and Nephew, I decided to go with the, no, did I do 12 ounces? No, I did somewhere between 8 ounces to 10 ounces. And then the rest of the ounces I put for the Dark Rum. But it's up to you. So for the amateur drinkers, I call them the 2 catfuls. You wouldn't need to be that strong with the rum. You can just do 2-part strong, which is just 16 ounces instead of the 24 ounces. So it's up to you how much of the rum you decide to put in. So I decided to put a certain amount for the Wray and Nephew, and then the rest of the rum ounces I finished it off with the Dark Rum. And Meyers rum is a very good rum, and I've seen it used in a lot of the authentic Jamaican recipes for rum punch. But I can tell you Wray and Nephew is always used no matter what, and not all recipes call for a dark rum. I just prefer the taste of both together. So you can create this recipe any way you like. Doesn't necessarily have to be these two rums, but these are the two that are in the authentic Jamaican recipe. Now it's time for the ginger. Now this is where it's a little different. So I decided to use ginger because this is where some of the variations are. So in the Jamaican rum punch, nutmeg is almost always used and preferred. However, I just prefer the taste of the ginger. They also use ginger. It's like a natural ginger. You make liquefy a ginger root and make your own ginger if you like. But what I did was, because I got grounded ginger, I put some in a bottle and I just put some water in the bottle with the ginger, and I just use it so I can shake it up and agitate to make it more into a liquid. And so I just put it in the water bottle, shake it up, and what I'm going to do is pour about 2 to 3 ounces of ginger liquid in there. If it is the actual pure ginger, you may not need to put as much. You probably just need to put about 1 ounce or 2. If it's nutmeg, they usually sprinkle some in there. Usually about a pinch is what they call it, and a pinch is basically like a teaspoon. Now you just close it up and you actually close it up, shake it up. Any type of cocktail or drink that you make that has citrus in it, you must shake and agitate to make sure the citrus does get diluted in with the rum and other ingredients within the actual jar. So shake it up, shake it around. And now it's time to taste. So I had to go get a glass because I forgot to get a glass. And so I went to go get a glass so I can taste it. And I can tell you, and I did edit it out a little bit, but I did make a little bit of a mess. Only because, the jar had such a wide mouth, that I really just didn't pour accurately. But we're about to pour it so we can taste it. I did taste it, and it wasn't sweet enough for me, so I'm going to add some more juice. I actually added 8 more ounces of the fruit punch, as well as some more pineapple juice. And that was also 8 ounces. Orange juice. I didn't put a full 8 ounces of orange juice because I already had oranges in the actual jar, so I didn't want to do such an overkill with the orange juice. So I just put in about 4 more ounces of orange juice. So now I'm going to close it up, shake it up, agitate it. Hopefully it gives a good, the taste that I'm looking for. And just remember, you can't just make the rum punch and think, okay, I'm going to put it in and it's just going to be fine. You're going to have to taste it and see if it's the right consistency that you need. Is it the right amount of rum? Do you need a little more pineapple? Do you need a little more fruit punch? Do you need a little more orange juice? So the tastes are usually a little different, and yes, it does taste better as it actually sits. So upon tasting it this time, I needed to add some grenadine. However, here is a picture of the actual Jamaican rum punch syrup that you would normally use if you was going to use the water method instead of the juice method. So once I find that syrup, I'm going to try it again and see what happens. So here is the moment of truth. I've added the grenadine, and it is perfect. Now it is time to close up the jar and put it in the refrigerator and leave it in the refrigerator for anywhere from, I would say, overnight. However, if you can't wait for that, when I actually made this batch, I was having a actual rum tasting event that night, and so therefore it pretty much sat in the refrigerator for about 5 to 6 hours, and it was perfect. But I can tell you, it was so much better the day after. So make sure you make it in enough time when you're actually planning to use it for a party. Now here you see me cutting the pineapples, and this is for the garnishing. So, just cut off the slices, but it's up to you. Some people garnish their glasses with a cut wedge of pineapple, or sometimes they do toothpick with some cherries. I decided to use pineapple. So here's the finished product. Doesn't it look pretty? Proud of myself. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this recipe and making the rum punch with me. If you actually make yours, let me know how it turned out for you by leaving a comment below. And if you have other cocktail recipes that you make that you would like me to feature on here and try, please leave them down in the comments itself as well. If you like this, please hit the like button as well as hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. See you next time.